Hello and welcome back. My name is Dr. Ritamarie and we're here for video 3 in our series. And today's topic is that hormones really can be blamed, but it's not exactly what you think. A lot of times we hear when somebody is overweight or sluggish, oh, it's their hormones. You must have a hormone imbalance. And in some cases, this is said to avoid take the responsibility of your habits. And when you hear somebody blame their hormones for their overweight or their sluggishness or their brain fog, you might be thinking, well, that's just an excuse because they're not really doing the work. Well, what I'm here to explore with you today is that indeed that can be the case. It just may be that you've reduced your calories down to practically nothing, and you're at the gym 6 days a week, and your weight doesn't budge, and you feel just as tired and overweight and out of sorts as ever. Let me talk to you about some of the hormones that are involved. Typically, people think about thyroid imbalance, because your thyroid regulates your metabolism. And thyroid imbalance is true, is at the heart of a lot of overweight in spite of eating very little. There's more than just thyroid involved. Leptin is a hormone that's only recently been discovered. It's a new kid on the block. But scientists have discovered that leptin can be at the heart of all sorts of other hormone imbalances. And when leptin gets out of sorts and is dysregulated because of eating at the wrong times of day, because of eating too many high carbohydrate foods and simple sugars, because of eating foods that damage leptin receptors, and not having your timing down. Leptin is a hormone that signals your brain that you're full, that you've had enough to stop eating. And it's secreted by your fat cells. The more fat cells you have, the more you secrete leptin. And you may be thinking, well, then why am I hungry all the time? I have plenty of fat cells. Why isn't it telling my brain to turn off my appetite? Well, the problem is you develop leptin resistance. And when you're leptin resistant, you can't turn off your appetite. You're hungry all the time. The other thing that happens when you get leptin resistance, which goes hand in hand with leptin resistance, is insulin resistance. Insulin is another hormone that's secreted by your pancreas in relationship to eating food. When you eat food and your sugar levels go up, your pancreas secretes insulin, which is supposed to then take the sugar out of your blood, put it into your cells, give you lots of energy, and then signal back to the pancreas to stop producing insulin. But what happens when you eat lots of sugary foods, carbohydrate foods, breads and pastas and grains, and even high sugar fruits, then that mechanism gets messed up. You have too much insulin in your blood, and it's telling the cells to take up the sugar, and they're full. They can't do it anymore. So they become insulin resistant. They put up their hands and say enough. And so the sugar still sits in the blood, it can't get in, you develop insulin resistance, and then the insulin takes the sugar and stores it around your belly. And you feel tired after you eat. Surefire sign. There's other hormones, which we'll go into a little bit more detail on our teleseminar. Things like adrenaline and adrenaline resistance and cortisol. Many people blame their female hormones, menopause, for the problems with overweight. And indeed, that can be a problem, but it's more related to an imbalance in the other systems, in your adrenal hormones, in your insulin, and your leptin. So the tip that I'm going to give you is related not to food, but to stress, because stress stimulates cortisol and adrenaline and affects the whole cycle. It messes up insulin, it messes up leptin. So here's your tip of the day. Here's your assignment, should you choose to take it. I want you to go on and news fast. Because news, the daily news, the news on TV, the news in the papers, is all about getting your adrenaline levels up. It's all about getting you in a dither about all the bad stuff that's happening in the world. So just take a break from it for a few days. Listen to some soothing music instead of the news. Put some motivational tapes on a recorder and listen to those instead. Just see how that you feel. In the long haul, that's going to melt away your belly fat better than any severe calorie restriction diet on the planet.